Well, hello friends, Hungry Hussey here, and right now there's a lot of people that got brand new Blackstones for the holidays, Black Friday, for Christmas. Somebody was a good boy or girl, and I'm glad you are. Today we're talking about tips, tricks, and I got 10 of them. 10 awesome tips, tricks, hacks. So buckle up, let's go y'all. First and foremost, you got to season your griddle, but you also have to prepare your griddle first. I recommend cleaning everything really well and then seasoning your griddle. This right here might be the most crucial step of your griddle career, okay? Get that seasoning right, get a nice base seasoning down, and then you'll be good to go later on. So what is seasoning exactly? Well, I'm glad you asked. I don't know everything about it, but basically you're putting a thin layer down, you're cooking that off, and it polymerizes to that cold rolled steel. You do that over and over and your griddle surface will almost become non-stick. So there will be a video down below of how I season my griddles to help you along. We're not going to go into the full details and how to do it here. Check out the video below, chock full of great information. For brand new griddles, after you cook for the first, I don't know, 5 to 6 times, it's always a good practice. Clean it really well, dry it really well, lay down another thin layer of oil and let that cook off or polymerize to really set that base layer up. Because that first initial seasoning, you're gonna get 3 to 4 seasonings sessions, okay, if you will. But just when you're layering and layering after your first couple cooks, really helps the seasoning. All right, that's one down. That was a big one. Number 2 is knowing your zones, your heat zones. Most of your griddles have multi-zones, anywhere from 1 burner to 4 burners. And there's some bigger ones out there too, but most of them are 1 to 4, with the majority being like a 36-inch Blackstone griddle that has 4 burners. You don't always have to have those burners all on the same. You can have one side on your griddle cool, one side hot. You can have one side off, one side on, or just maybe the end zone being off and the other 3 on. It really just depends on your cook. Knowing you have that at your arsenal really helps with your cook, because you know, you can put things over here that's not quite ready, but it's keeping warm and it's not in a pan somewhere getting cold for your guest or for your family. Because you know how them Andersons are. They get a little crazy when their food's cold, all right? One thing a lot of people don't know is you can cut the burner off if you want, and that's okay, and you can have other burners on. Eggs, for example, I like to cook my eggs really low, 300, 325. Really makes a nice egg. Sometimes these griddles run really hot, and it depends on your environment, depends on your griddle, depends on a lot of things. It's okay to cut the burners off, let that temperature of that griddle top come down so you can cook whatever you have. One trick to bringing that griddle temperature down, if it's too hot, it might be smoking and you want to put some eggs on it, put some water down on your griddle top. It'll bring that temperature down really quickly. That evaporation of the water takes a lot of that heat out of that griddle plate and brings the temperature down way faster than just cutting them off. You might have a couple cooks under your belt and you say, Hussey, low isn't really low. What's up with that? Well, I'm glad you asked. So cooking devices, they have tests that they have to pass before they can bring that item to the market to sell to you. One of those is a blowout test. So the griddle, any gas appliance outside, has to meet a test. On low, a wind of a certain amount, I don't know the test exactly, cannot blow that flame out, because if it does, it's a safety issue. So you have to have a certain height of flame, so you don't want that flame to go out and cause an issue. So it's not the griddle's fault, it's wind, essentially. We're cruising right along. We're at number 3, and that is mise en place. Mise en place is a French term basically saying everything in its place. You want to do all your prep, all your chopping, everything. You want to have it ready. ready to go, because y'all, when you're doing a stir fry or doing really any cook on a griddle, it goes fast. And you don't really have time to be running into the kitchen for some butter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got some flour somewhere. Where's flour at? Guess what, Jacob? Guess where my flour is?
Inside.
Inside. Great. Great. Get all your stuff, get it ready. Everything's chopped and in its place, typically in how you're going to put those items onto the griddle in order that they need to cook. So, you know, one thing takes a long time. You got some potatoes, put your potatoes down, you know, you have those ready, then maybe onions, etc., etc., etc. Even down to the oil, spices, that kind of thing. This will help you be organized and efficient when on the griddle. And I guarantee it will up your game tremendously. All right, y'all, number 4, and I see this a lot, and I want to make sure you don't do the same issue on your cook. Don't overcrowd your griddle top. I see a lot of folks they may be doing hibachi. They may be doing hibachi chicken and steak, and man, they'll throw all of that chicken or all that steak, shrimp, whatever, onto the griddle just one big blob. Well, y'all, that is a big mass of meat, and that takes the heat out of that griddle top pretty much immediately. It takes a little bit of time to recover. You need a bunch of BTUs to recover from all of that meat, okay? What I like to do is try to scatter all your pieces of meat onto the griddle, just so that, number one, each piece gets a griddle top. You want that Maillard reaction, all right? Maillard reaction is the caramelization of that meat on that griddle. That's flavor. You don't want the thing just be looking there, look at you like, oh, you know, just kind of lifeless. Eventually, some juices, that kind of stuff, is going to start leaching out. And you know then that your griddle wasn't hot enough, or it just got cold and then started releasing its juices. Not a good thing, okay? So some things that you can do if you got a lot of things that you're doing, just batch cook your items. Maybe do your chicken first, and then your steak, and then your shrimp, and just keep those into some aluminum pans. That kind of thing, instead of throwing everything down at once. And then, you know, that way you have a really nice experience. The people you're feeding is going to really enjoy it too. With that said, this right here segues right into our next tip, which is knowing your griddle temperatures. Not everything needs to be on high, not everything needs to be on low, etc. For example, eggs. Eggs need to be cooked on a really low temperature. And the reason that is because you will, number one, you could smoke the oil, whatever you're using. I like to use butter for my eggs. A lot of people have emailed me, a lot of people have messaged me, Hussey, why does my eggs turn out really brown, or they black, or something like that? And well, chances are your griddle temperature was way too high. So you need to, again, adjust those temperatures, turn it off if you need to, bring that griddle temperature around 300, 325. I like to use an IR thermometer just to make sure, especially if you're starting out and you don't quite know your griddle temperatures. Another good way, if you don't have an IR gun, put some butter onto that, which I like to cook my eggs in, like I said, and it doesn't brown. Butter starts browning at about 350 degrees, plus or minus a couple degrees. If it's not browning, that tells me we're below that smoke point, okay? Perfect opportunity for eggs. Make it that nice yellow, and it doesn't turn brown, doesn't turn black. They're nice and pillowy, soft. So I've made this really cool handout right here. A lot of your main griddle temperatures that you need to go by. I'm going to put it right here, but I'm also going to have it down below. It's going to be on my website. Feel free to go over there and grab it. It'll be free. All right, guys, number 6. It took me a little while whenever I first started griddling to figure out, what can I do to bring stuff off of the griddle, the proteins, etc. Well, I invested into some trays, some cutting boards, that kind of thing. There's going to be an accessory note on down in this video. I didn't want to put this into the accessories because this is a need of the actual cook itself, okay? So have a tray, have some platters, have some cutting boards just for your cook. And so that way you can bring everything off the griddle at the same time, take it into the house or take it to the table that you might have outside. I like to use the Blackstone trays. They are nice. They have nice handles on the side. I also have Blackstone cutting boards. I have some other Dalstrone cutting boards that I like to use as well. Those links will be down below. Check those out. I love to have those, even for my mise en place too. I have those trays with my raw items, and then also have trays to bring stuff off as well. Number 7 is just like 6, but it's a dome or some kind of lid you might want. A lot of people do some really creative things with even like the aluminum pans. Use whatever you have, but there are domes specifically for the griddle that Blackstone makes, some other manufacturers might make. These are great because, number 1, it helps cook things faster. Chicken wings, for example. I have the big dome from Blackstone. You could put, I don't know, 25 or so chicken wings, put that cover over it. And a lot of people say, well, you got a hood, Hussey. Just put the hood down. Well, you can. What the dome does is it helps create a tighter convection. Tighter meaning that it don't have a lot of space. It's just got the confinement of that dome, okay? That results into things cooking faster. Okay, so it's kind of like a air fryer versus your oven. The air fryer, the reason why it's so efficient, it's a tighter space. A lot more tighter than, say, your oven. Your oven has a lot more space. So air only has to go, one way or the other. It's also good for melting cheeses, that kind of thing. So use that too as a tip to get your potatoes. If you're doing some potatoes on the griddle, put that cover over it, add a little bit of water, steam it up real good. Your broccoli for stir fries, cauliflower, same thing for stir fries. We're just having it, some griddled broccoli and cauliflower, carrots, things that take a little bit longer to cook. You will find that if you use that dome, it will decrease cooking times. All right, number 8. This one's a big one, and one that I highly, highly recommend getting a thermometer, like an instant read thermometer. See the links below. I have a Thermapen links, Thermopops, which is a little bit cheaper version of a Thermapen. So about 40 bucks, but you still get really good performance. I'm pretty sure having a Thermapen in my pocket while I'm cooking has made me a better cook overall. Number 1, I haven't made anybody sick. So you're checking the doneness of chicken, making sure it's 160, 165, so nobody doesn't get salmonella. Nailing that medium rare steak really, really makes you a great cook. And then also knowing the donenesses of your items. Some folks don't know where medium rare is. Some people don't know medium. Some people, they're afraid of chicken. They think they just got to take chicken to 185 no matter what. Well, that's kind of bad, especially if you're cooking a breast. Dark meat doesn't really matter, but a chicken breast doesn't need to go to 185, I guarantee that. So I have a little chart here. It's also a download in my website. Head on over there and you can have that really handy chart at your fingertips. Going to number 9, cleaning your grill, y'all. This right here is very crucial for upkeep and maintaining that perfect seasoning. Life happens. It's happened to me. I have failed at this. And coming from somebody who has failed before, just do it right after you cook. I know it's tough, but once you get into that habit of just doing it right after you cook, you'll be just fine. Now, again, life happens. If you get to it the next day, that's fine. But cleaning that griddle is crucial. There will be a link below of how I clean my griddles. Again, pretty simple. I'll just like to use some water, scraper, paper towels, make sure it's all clean. Once your paper towel kind of gets not brown but somewhat white, you're pretty well good. Get that hot, get that dry, okay? And then spray a little bit of oil. You can get some spray, canola spray, or just your oil from your oil container. Wipe that down nice, even, thin coat. Put the top on it, put the cover on it. You're good to go for the next time. So take it from me, boys and girls, doing it right after you cook is best. All right, y'all, last but certainly not least are accessories that I believe is a must for every griddle owner, especially beginners. I talked about it before, a thermometer. One I like to use is a Thermopen IR. It has an instant read plus an infrared. So the infrared, you can read your griddle temperatures to make sure you're cooking at the right temperatures for what you're cooking at that time. Also has the instant read so that you can test that chicken and you can pull it and it's going to be moist and juicy and not dry. I highly recommend getting a thermometer, especially if you are new to cooking. I've said this before, a Thermopen has made me a better cook. Now, let's talk about spatulas. Pretty standard stuff. It's like, oh, it's a spatula, Hussey. What good is it? Well, I'm going to tell you, there are differences. Personally, I like a spatula with a little bit of flex to it. I don't like something that's very rigid. There's a lot of options out there that are very rigid. I like a little spring to mine. I just feel like I got a little bit more control. And they're honestly, the OG Blackstone models are some of my favorite. They got plenty of spring to them, and I feel like I have tons of control. This is one thing that you might have to do a little trial and error on. So just pick some up somewhere. You know, hey, if you like them, you like them. If you don't, you know, give them to somebody you don't like, or, you know, whatever. Take a look below. I'll show you the spatulas that I'm currently using. And if I can find those OG Blackstone ones, I'll put those in there too. Domes and lids. I talked about it previously, just something to cover things, get that convection going. That's an accessory that I love and probably cannot live without, especially melting cheeses on your smash burgers. I think it's one thing I can't live without, especially doing broccoli, your stir fries, and that kind of thing. Racks. Now, I'm not talking about like a deer rack or anything like that, or a luggage rack, but I'm talking about racks that will sit onto your griddle, elevated off of your top just a little bit. Especially if you're cooking like a big breakfast. Man, I love cooking breakfast. But obviously you can't do everything. The griddle is big, but you can't do everything. So normally you start out with your bacon and your sausage and all that kind of stuff, your proteins first. Well, once that gets done, you can put that over here on this rack while you cook your eggs, your pancakes, etc. All right. The Blackstone one that I like, it actually retracts left or right like this right here. You can make it as big or as small as you want. And you kind of stretch that out on the end of your Blackstone, on the back end. And then you can put stuff on. It's got some nice handles on it so it don't get hot. You can actually take it off and pull it into the house. There's all kinds of other cookie racks that you can have too if you got those around. I used those for years and love those. There's some narrow ones, there's some wide ones. You know, use what you have is what I like. You save a little bit of money. Racks are very nice to have, especially when cooking a lot of food. Trays, I'm going to talk about those too. We talked about them earlier. They are a must for bringing stuff out to the Blackstone, raw food, having your mise en place on a tray, bringing that out, and then also having trays for stuff that's cooked to bring that out. Platters, cutting boards, you know, that kind of thing. Awesome to have, especially when you're outside and you're bringing things in. Scrapers. Scrapers is a big thing also. I like the original scraper. It's a bench scraper kind. I feel like it gives me good control. I can get into the corners really well. Some people like a handle, especially, I mean, you're right there at some hot grease, so a lot of people don't want to get their hands burnt. Because cleaning is a necessity. You want to make sure you clean well, so you want a scraper that you like. Paper towel holder. You'd never think about this until you're wondering, like, where's my paper towels at? Get you a magnetic paper towel holder. Some of the Blackstones have paper towel holders integrated into it, but if it don't, there are magnetic ones that you can buy on Amazon. There'll be a link below, and basically you can put it about anywhere a magnet will go, and you got your paper towels. You can also squish it together so that way a wind don't come by and unravel your paper towels. Trust me, it's happened to me. I'm going to piggyback off the paper towel holder, and I like to buy these terry cloth towels from Sam's Club. These right here make cleaning really nice too. I like to have one just kind of stand by. You put it down, put some water on it, let that steam. I feel like it just really cleans my griddle a little bit better after the paper towel treatment of my cleaning. They're also good to have on hand just for wiping your hands. I like to have one damp for cleaning my area around. The terry cloth just really makes quick work. I feel like it's a lot better than a paper towel. They're cheap. I think you get like, I don't know, 20 or so for like 10 bucks. So they're like 50 cents each. Once you get them dirty, you wash them a few times, they start to look dingy. hey, you can just toss them. Last but not least is having a trash can. Dang, for the longest time I didn't have a trash can and it sucked. Wind be going by, blowing crap. The dog would grab crap off of the dang Blackstone or the side shelf. Having a trash can is key. Some Blackstones come with a trash bag holder, and if you do, use that. If not, get you a trash can. It's kind of got a lid that does like that, so it opens and closes easily. But trash cans are crucial. Do you know what else I like? Bloopers. Ready? Yeah. Test, test. This is a test. Man, this thing's, I think it's frozen. It is frozen. Shoot. All right, we gotta get another one. Jeez Louise. Reckon that's all right? It's pretty good energy. I didn't say welcome. You don't have to say welcome back to the set, right? That's pretty sweet right there.